Y'all already know what time it fucking is. Big fucking waves in the building, man. What's happening? What's up with it, man? What it is, what it was, what it does, what it should be. Man, sorry. Pressure. Hey, look. Uh I know y'all sick of my shit, man. I get it. Everybody's sick of my shit. Ways when you go live, ways why you ain't go live, ways, this, that, and the third, man. Look, uh I've been in the process of moving, man. You know what I'm saying? So this is the last official stream from this crib, man. This will be the last background and shit that y'all see, man. Y'all ain't gonna see too much, but this gonna be the last official stream from this fucking crib. And we got a lot of shit to talk about today, man. We're talking about combine week. The combine is underway right now. I think today, defensive tackles and all of that shit is going. They're underway, man, doing 40s and doing drills. Then tomorrow, I believe, it's cornerbacks and secondary players. I believe that they go all tomorrow. Then on Saturday is when we get the running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, skill position, so on and so forth, man. So yeah, man, look, we turning the fuck up tonight, man. I'm gonna try to do a long live for y'all tonight, man, because look, I be doing these lives far and in between. You know what I'm saying? I really don't be having the time to push the content the way I want to push the content, but that may change. Like I said, man, I'm a part-time streamer, man. You know what I'm saying? I really do this thing part-time because I really come love enjoying coming on here talking to y'all, man, about the Carolina Panthers. And we got a lot of shit to talk about, man, in regards to the Carolina Panthers. We heard the press conferences this week. Both of them dropped. General manager talk, head coach talk, everybody fucking talk. Now it's time for us to talk. But I got a crazy ass story to tell, man, before I even jump into it, man. Shout out CLT in the motherfucking building, man. Y'all already know what time it is. I got a crazy ass story that I want to tell before we start getting into it and diving into the meat and potatoes of this shit, man. So today, man, I'm at your local grocery store, man, and I run into no other than Dante Jackson. I ran into Dante fucking Jackson today, man, at the grocery store. What's up with it, Supernova, man? What's up with it, boy? Appreciate y'all pulling up to the channel, man. Y'all know I be Ghost, man. Look, part-time YouTuber, man. That shit good as hell. Part-time fucking YouTuber, man. Really try to get on here when I have the opportunity to, which is not often, man, because your boy is life is hectic, man. Like I said, man, we in the process of moving cribs and shit like that. Uh, gonna have a whole new setup when we get into the new crib, man. So be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks. Whole new motherfucking setup in the week, man. We're gonna get into free agency talk. We're gonna get into some. I may do some mock drafts, man. I don't really fucking know. I feel like the mock drafts don't hit as hard as they need to hit when you don't have a first round pick. When you don't have a first round pick, the mock drafts to me are just basic as shit. Like they really fucking basic as shit, man. Like they don't have the same meaning when you're picking at 33, if y'all feel what I'm saying. So we may do that. I'm probably just more likely tell y'all who I think the Panthers are probably going to draft or who they should draft at the 33rd pick. It just I know a lot of other content creators been doing hella mock drafts and shit like that, man. But when you don't have a first round pick, it just doesn't feel legit. Like if that makes any motherfucking sense, like the shit doesn't feel legit. So I may or may not do one of those, man. I'm gonna be honest and transparent with y'all as I can possibly be when it comes to that shit. Uh, but shout out to everybody, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Big motherfucking waves in the goddamn building. Look, it's been a while, man. It's been a couple weeks since I've been on this bitch, man. Ever since Canales was made the head coach, a lot has happened. Excuse me, a lot has fucking happened with the Carolina Panthers since then, man. But I want to talk about today just some of the reactions from the press conferences that dropped. We heard from Canales, we heard from Dan Morgan, And I can tell y'all motherfuckers something, man. I am actually pretty pleased with what I've heard so far from this new regime. I am really pleased. Like these motherfuckers got me ready to run through a brick wall right now. Like that's how motivated I've been from hearing everybody so far and what they've had to say about the Panthers this all season. Because and the reason why and the motherfuckers say, yeah, we gotta see the results on the field. Yeah, we gotta see the results on the field, but we a long way away from seeing the results on the field. I think right now what we gotta do is monitor this process and how this team is being built and what they're doing to build this football team. Like to me, that is the most important shit now. Is like, can we build this fucking roster the way that it needs to be built? And that's what I've been wanting to hear. That's what I've been wanting to see. That's what I've been kind of following so far this all season. And I can tell you that I am very pleased of what I've heard from Canales and what I've heard from Dan Morgan so far. One thing about Dan Morgan, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody is that Dan Morgan knows what it takes to fucking win. He knows what it fucking takes to win. He's a winner. He comes from a era of football that is winning. He comes from a Carolina Panther team that was built with nothing but leaders and veterans. Probably, arguably, the most talented overall Carolina Panther team that we had in organizational history. Right? He knows what the fuck it takes to win. So the kind of players that you have to have here. He knows what kind of players that you have to have in order for you to have success and build a winning football team. That's something that Dan Morgan knows. He knows that, right? And it's a certain type of culture that got to be built in that fucking locker room before you can even start talking about the X's and O's and making predictions on the schedule and talking about what needs to be done. You got to build a culture first. This team was at the bottom of the fucking barrel a year ago. Like, well, not even a year ago, literally just a couple months ago. The bottom of the barrel. The Carolina Panthers can't get any worse than what they were this past season. They were absolutely fucking horrendous. Like, there's no other words to say how bad the Panthers were. This was the worst season in Carolina Panthers history. Record wise, it wasn't the worst season record wise, but it was definitely the worst season when you talk about everything that kind of conspired and throughout the year, everything that unfolded, how everything unfolded with the head coach being fired, the offense being probably the worst offense I've seen in Carolina Panthers history. The quarterback, our rookie quarterback, getting destroyed, getting sacked 6 times, the offensive line aggression, the list goes on. We can continue to talk about the mutiny that we heard within the coaching staff, the rumors of how certain coaches was going behind backs. It was a lot. And then talking about our ownership in David Tepper and what kind of fucking owner that he is, right? And the decisions that he has made to ultimately get the Carolina Panthers to where they are. But turning the page to the future, right, and where we are right now, the Panthers is yet to be seen if the coaching staff is going to be what we need them to be. But I will tell you this: I'm a believer in Canales, right? I think that he is going to bring what this team has been missing on the offensive side of the ball, and that's number one, creativity on the offensive side of the ball, playing to your personnel strengths because that's a huge one. You got to be able to play to what your players can do, right? And we didn't have a ton of talent. We did not have a ton of guys that were playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Honestly, we didn't have any. You didn't have really any playmakers on the offensive side of the ball at all. So you didn't have that. So you didn't have much to work with. And on top of that, you had a rookie quarterback who came in with probably one of the worst regimes you can have as a coaching staff. On paper, they looked good, but when it came down to handle the business, they fucking folded, right? So when I'm looking at all of that, you know, I think that there's no way to go but up. You can't go anywhere but up for the Carolina Panthers. Canales is going to be able to play to Bryce Young's strengths, what he can do, right? We need to stop basing our team and our offense of what we think motherfuckers can do and start holding people accountable to what they can do. That's what we need to be doing. So when I'm looking at Dave Canales and the staff that he's put together, there's one word that comes to mind: continuity, chemistry. That shit comes to fucking mind when I'm thinking about this staff and Dave Canales. He's put together a staff outside of the defense, which the defense wasn't a problem. He's put together a staff that has a ton of continuity. That's what you want. You want to have guys that have coached together for several years. They know what each other can do. They know what each other's expectations are. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Big Brother backstage, I'm gonna pull him up once I get this open soliloquy out. Uh, I think that Canales has a fucking edge to him, man. Like I really think that he has an edge. If you watched his press conference, and there was another press conference he did for just the Charlotte media, he was backstage at the combine. It was something that he fucking said, man, that really had me like, yo, this dude is he could be the one. Again, I'm not making any premature predictions or anything like that. But again, when they asked him, about the players on the roster and the current players on the roster, he said that these guys have to understand, man, we're going to identify the guys that were able to do something, and we're going to identify the guys that didn't give us anything at all when we're evaluating this roster. Like, meaning, like, he's going to let motherfuckers know, like, hey, you wasn't shit, man. We can't do nothing with you. You've had opportunity after opportunity. You're not producing. You got to go. And I think it's a couple players in our head that we can say that they need to go. And before I jump into that, I want to get back to it, man. Canales is going to bring that type of standard to this offense where you're going to have to be able to produce. And also, he's been holding Bryce Young accountable too. He's sticking to what he's saying about Bryce has to get rid of that ball. He got to be able to, yes, there's things schematically he admitted that we can do to help, with the sacks and the offensive line to protect for him better. But at the end of the day, Bryce needs to get rid of that ball in less than 3 seconds. That's some shit that he's kept talking about when they asked about Bryce Young development. So meaning that, listen, Bryce Young was in a bad situation last year, but at the same time, he got to step his shit up too. Like, this is the NFL. He's going to be held to a certain level of standard as well. And I know all of my Bryce Young haters are loving to hear this, but I'm telling you that Bryce Young is going to have to step his game up too. It's not going to just be we can put everything around him and he's going to have success. That's not how it's going to work. It needs to be that we're this staff is putting him in the best position to have success, and he's going to have to capitalize on what he's given. And some plays in the NFL, listen, man, there's nothing going to be there. There's going to be plays where you're going to have to make plays out of nothing. I really think that Bryce is going to be a quarterback where he's going to have to depend on his legs a lot more than he probably wanted to, coming into the NFL. But I think that because of his size and those limitations, he's going to have to take off a lot. And I'm not saying that he's going to be a scrambling quarterback, but I just don't think that the offensive line is not going to be fixed in one offseason, right? They're going to make some moves to improve it next year, but I don't think it goes from being the worst in the NFL to being the top 10 line. We'll probably be more in the early 20s or something like that. I I think that Bryce Young is going to really have to make plays with his talent next year. Like, I honestly believe that. So that's the accountability piece. But like Dan Morgan said, and we're going to get into those to a lot of those topics, man. I got a lot of list of fucking topics that we're going to talk about tonight. But like Dan Morgan was saying, you got to bring dogs into Carolina. We don't have no dogs on this football team at all on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not worried about the defense. You got to remember something. The defense has really consistently been good no matter what the regime was. It was good in the Ron Rivera regime. It was good in the Matt Rule regime. It was good in the Frank Wright regime. And it's probably still going to continue to be good because you have players on the defense that know how to play. And our defensive coordinators have been pretty good over the last 5 to 6 seasons. Steve Wilkes has done a phenomenal job. Even your boy, who Matt Rule brought in at first, I can't remember what his name was. He was a pretty good defensive coordinator. He was running all those exotic looks. I can't remember what my boy name was, man. Somebody help remind me of what his name was. It was Matt Rule's first defensive coordinator, but he did a good job. And then Ejiro Evero, Phil Snow. There we go, Omar. Phil Snow. Phil Snow did a good job at defensive coordinator. He really the defense really didn't take any steps back under Phil Snow. Under Ejiro, since he's came, it was a top 3 unit in the NFL. So I'm not going to talk about the defensive side because yes, there's holes that can be filled on the defense, but Ejiro took a bunch of no-name motherfuckers last year and made them into football players. Let's keep it real. We had a ton of injuries on the defensive side of the ball last season, right? And he took those guys and had them playing at a top 3 level in the NFL, man. I'm not worried about the defense. The defense is going to be fine. Brian Burns is not going anywhere. Now, we're going to talk about what the potential outcomes may be for Brian Burns today. Like I said, this is probably going to be a long-ass live. I got a lot of shit to fucking talk about because I ain't been on in a couple weeks either. And a lot of shit that I've been seeing has rubbed me some kind of way. So I'm popping my shit tonight. Big motherfucking waves in the building. I don't give a fuck if it's 3 people in here watching. I'm popping my shit tonight. So, offensively, you need to bring in some talent. I was having this conversation with Sir Nigga Nation off stream the other day. Sir Nigga Nation, and we were talking about the move the Panthers need or can make to improve this offense. There's a lot of moves that you can make to prove, but the reality of it is you cannot be cheap. You cannot fucking be cheap, bro. You cannot be fucking cheap. You are going to have to spend some fucking money if you want to improve this offensive side of the ball. That's always been the Panthers' problem. The Panthers' problem has been they do not like spending fucking money. They don't like spending money. We have to get out of that mindset that we cannot invest into positions that's going to improve this team. Every top team in the NFL has a number 1 clear-cut wide receiver on it. If you look at the final 4 teams that were in the AFC and NFC championship, they all have number 1 weapons, minus Kansas City, but they still have Travis Kelce, so he's still a number 1 weapon and number 1 option, right? The Carolina Panthers are going to need that. Bryce Young is going to need that. He needs somebody that he can grow with, but also when he gets in trouble, that person is going to be there as a comfort security blanket for him. We have to go and spend money and go and get us a number 1 wide receiver. There's a lot of options out there. It could be Mike Evans. It could be Brandon Ayuk. You might be able to do a trade. Maybe the Cincinnati Bengals, they even though they tag T. Higgins, they can still do a sign and trade for the right price. You got to find a way to get Bryce Young a number 1 wide receiving option. Yes, Mingo. I expect Jonathan Mingo, because of his draft status, I expect him to take a step this year. Adam Thielen will probably start to slowly decline because he's 33, turning about to be 34 years old. But outside of those 2, you don't have anybody else on the roster that is a proven commodity whatsoever. You don't. Not even at the tight end position. The offense is very, very right now slim. There's nothing on the offensive side of the ball. Not only do you get a free agent wide receiver, you also draft a free agent wide receiver with the 33rd pick. Waves, that sounds crazy. Why would you do that? Because you are deprived of offensive talent. You're deprived of it. You don't have anybody on offense at all. You need to improve the offensive side of the ball. Even if you don't make any moves on defense right now, The defense is still good enough to win football games or give you opportunities to win football games. But you got to improve the offensive side of the ball. Now, Dan Morgan has been talking about, taking the best available at 33. I get that. That's the political answer. Everybody says that, right? But the reality of it is, if Keon Coleman, wide receiver of Florida State, if Keon Coleman is staring at you in the face on the first day of the second round, you got to pick up Keon Coleman from Florida State. You need a playmaking wide receiver. You need playmakers all over the offense. You need a 1, you need a 2, you need a solid 3, a speed guy, a size guy, which Mingo is probably going to give you that, a possession guy, which Thielen is going to give you the possessions, and then you need a playmaking wide receiver. One that's going to beat, no matter, you can't one-on-one them. You got to have that. You have to have that because the tight end position is weak. You can't do anything with the tight end position. That shit is weak. I don't see the Panthers going to get another free agent tight end this year. Maybe they draft another one late, but I don't see them going to get another free agent tight end. I just don't see that, especially after just, picking up your boy who was Hayden Hurst. Yeah, I don't see if they're going to do that with Tommy Tremble still there and Ian Thomas is still on the roster. Hopefully he gets let go. He's not on the roster. Yeah. So you got to improve the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to pick Big Bro up here, and we're going to start diving into these topics. Hopefully, Nigga Nation and the rest of the crew will pull up. I'm going to drop the link for anybody that want to pull up. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. Not only do you need to pick up a free agent wide receiver, Michael Pittman, whoever's out there, Mike Evans, whoever's out there, you're going to have to pay them whatever they want. Whatever they want. You need that kind of production on offense. You cannot be cheap about it. You cannot be cheap about it. You got to spend some fucking money and go get some fucking guys. Spend it. You got to do it. And with the 33 pick, you need to draft a wide receiver there as well. If Keon Coleman is sitting at you right there, sitting at you in the face, staring at you at the face at 33, you got to fucking go get a Keon Coleman too. Those two, with an Adam Thielen, a free agent wide receiver, whoever it is, maybe you go get Marquise Brown. I'm not a fan of that move, but he's a field stretcher. He got speed. He can stretch the field. Maybe you go get him and draft a wide receiver at 33. That's at least improvement. If maybe you go and get a Brandon Ayuk. I'm taking best wide receiver over best guard at 33. Absolutely, without a doubt, because you can pick you up a quality guard in free agency. And you have to remember your 2 starting guards from last year were injured. So you have to see what they look like when they return. You don't know what they're going to be. If they're going to be anything, you got to see what Brady Christensen is going to look like. You have to see what those guys are, if they have anything left in the tank when they return. You have to see that. But I'm going to get a free agent wide receiver, and I'm drafting the best wide receiver available at 33. And I'm starting with that. And then everything else, I'm just filling in. But I'm starting with that. That's how bad our wide receiving room was this past year. I'm getting a big name wide receiver in free agency, and I'm drafting a wide receiver at 33. You just got to, man. You fucking got to. That's why we need guards. Corbin and Brady are too injury prone right now. Exactly, Omar. But you got to remember they're under contract. You at minimum, you have to see if they have anything left in the tank. You have to see it if they can stay healthy. Like you have no choice but to see it. You got to, because Dan Morgan has already said that Ikami Kwanu is staying at left tackle. Icky is not going anywhere. Dan Morgan confirmed it at the press conference that he's not going anywhere. He's going to be your left tackle. We're going to have to live with it. He's going to be the left tackle. They're not going to move him in the guard. Dan Morgan says that he thinks that with a better offensive line coach, he thinks that Ikami Kwanu can improve in his third year. Maybe he will. More likely that he won't. So you really can't spend a lot of money on the line. You may be able to get one quality, and then you got to remember they drafted Savala last year too. Even though he was trash and he's probably going to be a bust, they still probably going to give him one more year to see if they can get anything out of him. So the line will probably add one or two more depth pieces. I don't see too many more big moves made on the line outside of that, right? They're probably going to add one or two more guys that can fight for potential starting spots. But for the most part, I don't see a ton of money being spent in the O line. I could be shocked. I could be shocked and say that, but and they could do something different. But I don't see a ton of money being spent on the O line. I think that they'll probably end up drafting another guy. They might pick up a free agent guard or two free agent guards or something like that on some low deals, and then see what Brady and Corbett got left in the fucking tank. That's kind of feel like how the offensive line is going to go for that upcoming year. That's my take on that. But yeah, Icky is going to be your left tackle. He's not going anywhere. He's not fucking going anywhere. He's going to be the tackle. So you got to go wide receivers. You got to go get a free agent wide receiver, and you got to draft the best wide receiver that's at 33, which I think Keon Coleman may be there. All right, man. The link is out there, man, for anybody that want to fucking pull up to the channel, man. We got several topics to talk about tonight. Big motherfucking Wavez in the building, man. Live Combine Week, last live from this crib. Y'all already know, man, what time it is. Pull the fuck up. We got Big Bro in the building. Big Bro, what's good with it?
What's going on, Panthers Nation? Yeah, a lot of good points, man, made. About the
Point.
direction we need to go. Um, I do think that at 30-30, Dan Morgan said in his press conference, like I said, I went back and watched it.
Okay.
He said, at 33, they're gonna go with need first and then best available. That was his strategy. He said at the press conference, at the
Yep.
combine. So depending on how the draft fall. Do we take a wide receiver there? Possibly depends on who's available. But we got to keep in mind too that they just drafted Mingo at the top of the second round last year, and what they're hoping is for him to develop into a number one caliber receiver. That big receiver. They can go catch those 50-50 balls. So I mean, I think them drafting another receiver there at 33. I don't
If
know,
Keon
man.
Coleman's sitting there, you taking Keon Coleman?
But yeah, um,
You heard me?
if Keon Cole, depends on our other needs, man. Because really, Morgan said we gotta, definitely they're looking to fill the line, do something with the line, draft there. But that's the most important thing. Well, I ain't gonna say the most important thing, but one of the top things on the list, man, is to get the line. So if it's a caliber lineman there, I'm not gonna say tackle, right? Because he said Equanu staying at left tackle, which he drafted in the first round. Again, they got due to his draft status,
He got to
Equanu
stay
has to
there.
pan out, right?
Yeah.
They have to play him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was
Right.
a top 10 pick. Secondly, we Moulton got the next left tackle, the other side down. So we're not gonna draft the
His
left
cap
tackle.
hit is crazy this year, man.
But but we still need the interior line. As you mentioned earlier, those guys, man, injury prone. We need some depth, and that's another thing Dan Morgan talked about. He talked about we have to build depth, right? You know, depth is what we need not only at offensive line but all positions.
That's true.
So,
That's
so
definitely true.
meaning, depending on what's there in the draft grade of those guys, would I be mad if they drafted Coleman at 33? I wouldn't be, but as long as the need is taken care of and there's no other guys such as the line, is not it's higher ranked higher than them. So that's my point regarding that. Secondly, you talked about Canales, him being a coach, man, that he's straightforward, and saying he was gonna bring guys, and one thing he said in his press conference too is that their goal is, man, is to create competition at every position, right?
Right.
And so meaning he's by him saying that, hey, they're gonna evaluate the tape, they're gonna look at these guys and determine, hey, if they're not gonna give them anything, they pretty much gonna be out here. But the goal is, man, some of the best teams in the league, they create competition at every position, meaning your spot ain't safe. So guys got to come out and compete. Obviously the starters, the guys who produce like Luvo, Burns, they gonna be there, in their starting positions, guys like that. But everybody else, man, who, where we looking at, receiver looking at, on the line, and even at the running back position, man, trying to, hey, them guys got to come out and peak and show, because that's how all the good teams are, man. They have players that can compete, that can come in. They competing in practice, but that's what building the will of the team. So I like Canals with the way he's doing, man. I think he's young coach. I'm not saying he's gonna be the next greatest thing. We don't know yet, but from what he's
I
saying
like his
so
spunk.
far, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I do. I like his personality. I like his, the way he answered questions. He even said a thing about Bryce when they asked him again. Bryce has his issues with getting ready to football. We all know that. But like he said, the dude now played a lot of football at Alabama, one of the top programs in the SEC.
Yeah.
He's
He
not,
knows. Yeah.
yeah, he's not like
He don't need to be fixed. Yeah. He don't need to
yeah,
be
he don't need to
fixed.
be fixed, right? It's
He need
just
to
some
be
things that
polished.
there you go. He got to be polished, man. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it.
And so that's what he's going to do. He said the plan is in place for Bryce. They know what they need to do. They're going to
Right.
stick to their plan. And I love that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Bryce, we we,
He a
we
good
couldn't get,
quarterback.
yeah, he wouldn't have got drafted number one if he wasn't. You
Right.
know,
That's facts.
so people that's ready to move on from him already after that 1 year sampling. Hey, man, look, it is what it is. Like you're entitled to your opinion, but man, again, I think Canal's coming in here, new coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? Let's clean up, give Canals and his team, an opportunity, man, to fill this thing, man, and fix this thing and build this thing. So that's what I'm excited about, man. I like Morgan, I like Canal. Both of those guys, to me,
I
they
think they're
sound
a
like
good fit. I
they're
think that
yeah,
they're a
they're a
good
great
fit.
fit. I think they're a
Yeah.
good fit. Dan Morgan, he's been on a Super Bowl team with the Panthers, right? He knows
Most
what it
tackles in the
takes.
Super Bowl.
Yep, he still got the record, the most tackles in the Super Bowl. I think it was like 22 or 21. So this dude knows what kind of players to look for and what it's gonna take to build this organization up, man. So, he got the young guy. That's a good mess. Hey, man, look, last year was bad. We all know that as Panthers fans. So
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like it can't get no worse than last year, right? We won 2 games. So hell, if we win 3 games, that's an improvement.
It
You know what I'm
is.
saying? And you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not, you know, do I think we're
Rome
gonna
wasn't
go
built in a day.
right? Rome was a building today. It's not gonna go from, hey, we go from worst in the league to first in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's
That
not
ain't
many
gonna happen.
scenarios like that that's happened in the NFL era. I mean, that has happened,
But
a
not a
few
lot.
times. Yeah, but not a lot, man. But we gonna build this thing right, and we just gonna wait to see again going into next season. Hey, man, I don't have no expectations, right? I just say I don't think our expect is for this team to look better than it did last year, right? That's the only thing I say. Well, damn, let's see. Did Bryce look better? The offensive line, our whole offense look better because that was the problem this year. Our offense was stale, right? Our offense was stale, was staggered. We couldn't put up no points. So man, let's go in and see how this offense is going to look. It's going to be a new look offense, new scheme. And the Quanu, the topic on the Quanu, they're not going to move him inside. Fine. Like I said, maybe the scheme that Frank Wright and his staff was running didn't fit for Quanu. Maybe he got eight. That's why he got ate up. Because again, the previous year, he was solid. He was solid. He wasn't the best, but he was solid. So
Yeah, he
maybe it
was
was a
better than what
scheme
he was
fit.
last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was a scheme fit to why it didn't work. Maybe what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But let's see. But again, he was
Hold on,
drafted so
big bro.
high.
Let me get Omar opinion in here. Cause
Oh,
Omar
go
pulled
ahead.
up to the channel. Omar, what's good with it, man?
Yo, Waves, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's good with you, fam?
Hey, man, good to always talk to you, my G, man. Oh,
Hell
wish you
yeah.
best and safe travels with your move, brother. Nah,
Hell
man,
yeah.
your bro was talking. You said exactly what I wanted to hear. Waves, me and you will never fight about Bryce Young again. That's all I said. Yes, it
I
was
knew
a
you was
bad
gonna like that.
situation, but I still expected to see some more from him, and
More
we'll leave it
playmaking.
at that. Yeah, and because he showed it. Like I said, Bryce is at his best. Like I said, I when I evaluated Bryce this year, yes, the team was bad, but I was looking at Bryce for what he does good. He's not good running sideline to sideline trying to make throws. He's better running up the middle trying to make throws. Like when he steps up in the pocket and starts running towards the line of scrimmage and he hit Adam Thielen 15 yards deep on an in route, that's when Bryce is at his best. But
Yeah.
I'm in wait and see mode with him. I ain't expecting anything. I'm really just want Canales and Dan Morgan to build up a good team, man. Because when you have a good team, you can win. You can win more games than not. Think about how many times last year did we get a good run play on a first down just for it to come back for a hold?
Yeah.
That
It
happened
happened a
like
lot.
2 or 3 times a game. Every time we get a good play, hold, illegal procedure, some BS like that. And
Right. I
so
agree.
I just want the little things. I want Canales to focus on the little things. Let's just get a smart team. Let's get a disciplined team. And I think we'll be all right. I hearing Canales talk. Like I said, when we talked to you, I always thought Dan was going to be the GM. And I thought they were going to give it to Evero, but I'm not mad at them giving it to Canales because Tepper always wanted an offensive mind. Tepper going
A
to get what
young
he
mind.
wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something I heard Canales say yesterday is that, hey, he's 42. He's not one of these hotshot Bobby Slowick, Sean McVay types. He's been around the league for 10 years, so he got a lot
He
of
has
NFL experience. So I'm gonna give him.
behind
I'm gonna
some
give
good
him his.
coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming from a good tree.
Yep.
He was in Seattle with a lot of good teams. Even when Seattle was bad, they still getting 7, 8 wins a year. They just in a tough NFC West. With San Fran kind of got hot as of late, and
In
they
the
was
Rams
alternate.
years.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
the Rams got hot, so they were really just alternating. So it's like
Yeah.
he comes from a good team. Like you said, he brought over some coaches that he trusts. The
Yep.
defense is able to stay the same, so that won't be too bad. It's just, man, we just got to take it, I guess, like you said, month by month, attack free agency, then attack the draft. The pushback on your wide receiver thing, Dan Morgan said that he thought the wide receiver room was good. Not good as they ain't gonna make no improvements, but I guess he took it as saying that they was good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I feel about that, but that's what he said. So
So,
I don't think they take a wide receiver at 33. I think they get one, but not at 33.
man, I mean, so this is my response to all of that, man. With Dan Morgan, like, okay, so let's keep this. This is my whole philosophy when I'm looking at it. I mean, the offensive side of the ball, man, was like really, really bad. Like it was really, really bad. Like I don't really see too many bright spots on the offensive side of the ball at all. Like the only one that I can say is that I believe Chuba Hubbard has finally turned into a running back one.
I
You know what
say
I mean?
Tommy. I say Tommy as well. Tommy showed some good flashes last year.
Yeah, he showed some good flashes, man, but I don't know, man. I I'm going to give Trimble this year in this scheme because Canales' offense does get the tight end involved. You know what he did with Cade Otton. He made Cade Otton, a no name, tight end to a pretty solid tight end. So we'll see, how that works out, man. But I'm just going to say, man, the offensive side of the ball was really, really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tyler Moton. I mean, he to me this was probably his worst year. I don't think that he had like a phenomenal season. I think his season was just about average or mid for what he was asked to
Yeah.
do. But I
He's peaked. Moen has peaked. He's not
yeah,
getting any
yeah, man.
better.
But
He's
he
not getting
been
any better.
right, yeah, he's been at that spot for a long time, man. And
Yeah,
he's
it
heading
is what it
toward
is.
the
You can't be
to the-
mad.
right, yeah, he's heading to the twilight of his career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm not expecting a lot from Tyler Moton at this point, man, and
yeah,
especially when he doesn't have the support that he needs to have at this point in your career. You know, for older linemen, they got to have good support around them, man, for them to remain effective, um, especially at tackle. But what I'll say though, man, is that the need to put playmakers to me around Bryce, because what I've learned about my quarterback now is that he's not a quarterback that's going to uplift any offense. He needs an offense to uplift him. Like the Panthers are going to have to be a team going forward where it's going to be a collaborative effort. Like we need a well-rounded football team, pretty much. And again, I always like to compare the Panthers to this because I feel like this is the model that you have to follow. But look at the Detroit Lions and what they did. They drafted really well. You know, they brought in Jared Goff, who Jared Goff to me has shown underneath Dan Campbell that he's one of, to me, Goff is a top 10 quarterback in the league to me right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Goff was
yeah,
sent to Detroit to die, so
to
I
fail.
can agree
Right.
with
They
that.
sent him
Yeah,
there because they thought that was the death of his career. But
yeah,
he's turned to me to a top 10 quarterback. You can argue if he's better than Matt Stafford. I mean that's the argument for another day. But
yeah. That's an
I
argument.
think that Goff to me is he's turned into a top 10 quarterback in the league. But they've surrounded him with a lot of talent. Sam Laporta to me is turning into one of the best tight ends in the league. Jameer Gibbs is a hellified running back. Them picking up Montgomery from the Bears was an underrated signing. He had a hell of a year. They drafted well on the offensive line. And you remember they really started with that when they picked up Panay Sewell when they drafted him top of the draft. They just built that team for the quarterback to have success. You know, Amon Ross St. Brown and drafting Williams, and they picked up some other veteran wide receivers to help fill out that staff. But I think that we're going to have to put as many playmakers around Bryce Young as we possibly can. And again, that's not necessarily a knock on him. Every quarterback is just not that quarterback where they can do it by themselves. Like to me, there's only a handful of quarterbacks that I feel like is capable of doing that in the NFL. Like you got to have something. Like there has to be. You need one Pro Bowl. We didn't have not one Pro Bowler on the offense at all. Like at no position. No position, nobody was a Pro Bowler. Not on the line, not at wide receiver, not in the backfield, not at tight end. Quarterback definitely wasn't a Pro Bowler. You didn't have not one Pro Bowler on the offensive side of the ball. You're not going to win in the NFL like that. That's not going to happen. Tua, shout out to Uncle Quan, man. Shout out to Quan, man. Y'all make sure to go check out his channel as well. Tua's a great example of what Bryce Young could be with talent. I think that's a great comparison. You see what they had to do for Tua Tagovailoa. They went to go draft a Jalen Waddle. They went to go trade for a Tyreek Hill. They bought in a Raheem Mostert. They drafted, the running back a chain, which I felt like the Panthers should have got late when he was available, but they went to make moves to go bring in talent around him because the same thing people were saying about Bryce Young is the same thing they were saying about Tua Tagovailoa his first year or two in the NFL. So again, he's one of those quarterbacks that is going to have to be. He's going to need support around him, man, in order for us to see his maximum potential. You get what I'm saying? And what I think that you have to do this offseason is fix that. That's not going to necessarily fix the team. I don't think that if you bring in a free agent wide receiver and draft a wide receiver, that we automatically go from 2 wins to 7 or 8 wins. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that you got to give your quarterback the best opportunities to win. Like, all I want to see this season is that Bryce Young has improved. That's all that I want to see this season. I just want to see improvement out of him, out of the offense, showing that we're giving some fight. We're fighting to win games. We're not laying down. I just want to see a culture being built this year. I want to see accountability amongst the players and the coaching staff. And I just want to see this team starting the process of trending in the right direction.
Yeah, you know what you want
Yeah.
to see, Waves?
What's up?
You want to see an identity. You want something to
Exactly.
hang your hat on. You want to be able to see
Exactly.
something like, hey, worst case scenario, the Panthers can run the ball. Worst case
Right.
scenario, the
Right.
Panthers can throw that bitch deep. We just want an
Exactly.
identity, man. That's all I really want. Is just an identity. Win, lose, or draw. What can I hold my hat on? Like, damn, all right, we do that well.
Exactly. And you got to have that because your defense is going to give you every opportunity to win games. They're going to give you an opportunity to win it. There was a lot of games we lost last year. Outside of about 5 games, the Panthers did not get blown out in any game whatsoever. We had an opportunity to win majority of our games last season where the defense gave us chances early. The offense just could not convert. They couldn't fucking convert. So to me, I just want to see when we get in those third and long situations, every drive is not ending with a 4 and out or with a 3 and out or ending with a fucking field goal. That's what I want to see this year, and that's all that I'm expecting to see. Because if you start to, like you said, put that culture and that identity in, that's what you can start to begin to build off of. And each year, now, okay, well, the Panthers improved this year. Well, guess what? You got a first round pick next year. Now you can actually make some noise in the fucking draft and maybe go get whatever the position of need is at that time. And I got to get into these fucking topics, man. Um, but that's something that you got to be able to do. So to me, I'm taking wide receiver at 33. Like if one of the top 10 wide receivers are on the board at 33, I'm taking a wide receiver there for Bryce Young. You got to do it, man. Like he needs players that he can grow with. Jonathan Mingo, I get we drafted him high in the second round last year, but you need a Canales guy, somebody that Canales can come in there and grow with, and Bryce Young continue to grow with as well.
I'm saying, man, like I'm with you on that, but I also got to think about too, man. Like we got some young receivers.
Who?
Mingo,
That's
the
it.
jur- the jury is still out on him. Then they still was talking about. I think they asked Dan Morgan or somebody, I can't remember who it was. They asked about TMJ. I know he fell out of favor last year under that staff.
He was
Um,
blackballed, man. We
so I
messed up
mean,
that
maybe so. And
situation.
again, this year maybe he takes a turn this year. He's still on his rookie deal, so it ain't like
Yeah, this is year
we.
4 for him.
Yeah, it's year 4 for him. It ain't like he could have a breakout year. I don't know, but we got some young guys. Like, so do we necessarily need to go receive at 33? Not really to me. I mean, this is a deep wide receiver draft. Um, there's a ton of guys available. Do we again we gotta look at the need, the most pressing need. Do we need a top wide receiver in this draft at 33? To me, no, I don't think so. Because again, you just drafted Mingo, there last year. So it's like we doing it again, and then what we got two young receivers, you know, top receivers, and again, you spend high draft picks on them, and hell, what if both of them pan out? You
You
know what
know
I'm
what
saying?
I
And
think?
it's
I
like,
think what's going to play a big factor is if we either re-sign Chark or bring in like a 1A, because I feel like if you don't
there
bring
you
in a
go.
1A in free agency, then I think we pick up a wide receiver in 33. But if you can get like a Pittman, Evans,
Yeah,
Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley,
But
I
and
don't
that's
think
what I'm
they'll probably
saying. Like,
reach.
we
I'm
we gotta,
loading up.
yeah, because again, you still got, if you go with another rookie receiver, they still got to develop, man. That's the thing. Canals and Dan they both talk about developing the guys that's here already, right? You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
got
they
to
didn't talk a lot
develop,
about it though.
huh?
They didn't talk a lot about developing the guys that we have here.
But I'm saying they did bring it up. You know what I'm saying, about developing the guys that we have here. So again, if we can go out and get a veteran free agent, on a good deal, man, a team friendly deal, not saying paying them again. We don't want, because ultimately, we got a young team. We do need a couple veterans, man, to teach some of these young guys to come in. So like my man Omar said, a Pittman, Mike Evans may make sense at the right number. I know he's looking to basically end his career on this next deal.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna have to pay him. Yeah, you're
yeah,
gonna have
we
to
ain't
pay
gonna be
him.
able. I mean, I just don't think from the direction that we go on bringing him in for the number that he want.
Canales talked about him a ton in that press
I mean, he
conference, bro.
did. He did. No, I mean, because again, he had a great year under Canales. So I
One of
mean,
his best seasons.
yeah, he Mike Evans is definitely a top receiver. But we also know this is his last deal, and you know what he's gonna be asking. Like I said, if we can get him for the right number, um, you know, and for him to come in and be productive over the next couple of years and teach these young guys, absolutely, let's go do it. And again, the option's still there for a T. Higgins. I would rather get a T. Higgins who's younger than Evans, who you know can build with Bryce, and we can build around him as well. You see what I'm saying? Because he's younger, and by time you know they up again, like the numbers make sense for them. But you know, but that's my thing, man. We just got to figure out the
Which
need first at 33. See what we do in free agency, what the direction is, and then decide. You know what? You know who we draft at 33. We just and again, it just depends on who's there at 33 to take because
well,
Coleman, I don't see him making. I don't see Coleman making it at to 33 myself.
well, this leads into our first topic of the night, man. I know we're almost an hour in and getting to our first topic, but I got to get through these, man. First topic of the night, fellas. What does the Panthers do with Brian Burns? And I'm gonna go first, and I want to hear y'all opinion on this. Um, what I think is going to happen is that obviously Brian Burns is going to get the tag. I think me and Big Bro talked about this off stream, man. I think the deadline is coming up. Omar, if I'm not mistaken, it's early next week, right? The tag deadline.
Yeah, it should
You
be like that first week in March, like right before
yeah,
free agency.
yeah. So I don't think that a deal is going to get done before then. So I think the Panthers will tag him. But Jordan Schultz, a Bleacher Report, man, a very credible inside Panther insider, man, said that he heard a lot of talk, man, so far coming out of the combine week that the Panthers have talked to a couple teams, man, about potential sign and trade for Brian Burns. So they tag him and then they trade him, which to me, it makes a lot of sense. And this is what he explained, man, and it made a ton of fucking sense when I thought about it. If you look at the Panthers, his point was if you look at the team, the Panthers need a lot, preferably on the offensive side of the ball. They need a lot. Like there's a lot of holes to fill with this Panthers team, and you don't have a lot of resources to build the team within a 2 to 3 year span. Like even next year, you got a first round fucking pick. You have a first round pick next year, but you don't have a second round pick next year. This upcoming draft, you don't have a first round, but you got a second round pick. We don't have a lot of resources to utilize, even money in free agency. I think even with the cap, man, we're sitting around roughly like 40 million or something like that, maybe a little less than 40, 39 or something like that. But 40 is probably the sweet spot. A sign and trade for Brian Burns, which they already said that Brian Burns is going to command, you know, he said from what he's heard, 1 or 2 first round picks, man. And then maybe even if it's 1 first round pick, you can get additional seconds and thirds off of that. Maybe even a player from the team that you're trading him to. A sign and trade really doesn't sound too bad for Brian Burns. And hear me out before y'all jump into it because I know everybody's gonna say I've talked to Big Bro about this, man, about having the top 10 because Brian Burns is a top 10 DN, without a doubt. He's the top 10 DN, but in reality, he's more on the back end of the top 10 than he is in the top tier of that top 10. So people are going to say you don't get a DN at all, that comes around that often. I hear that. But think about the current situation that the football team is in. We're not going to be contending probably for the next 2, maybe even 3 years, just depending on how quickly things come together. You need as many resources as you possibly can to build this team out and build this team to a point where it's super talent deprived. You don't have a lot of talent on this football team. Go and look at the roster right now. No Pro Bowlers on offense at all, and there's some holes that may potentially have to be filled on the defensive side of the ball. You need to try to get as much resources that you gave up to get Bryce Young. You need to try to recruit those back as much as possible. A sign and trade with Brian Burns makes sense because here's the thing. Brian Burns is demanding a lot of money, which rightfully so, he should demand a lot of money. To stay on the worst team in the NFL, And to be a top 10 DN, lesser players have got paid a lot of money. So it makes sense for him to demand what he's going to demand. But does it make sense for the Panthers? You have Derek Brown that needs to be extended, which you're asking me right now. Derek Brown is our best player on the defensive side of the ball. He's our best player. He had a Hall of Fame season last year with a D tackle in a 3-4 defense, racking up the most fucking tackles in a season for a D tackle. Derek Brown is our best player on the defensive side of the ball right now. He's a dog. You got to get him paid. You have questions in the secondary. What is going to happen with J.C. Horn? Because he's not extension eligible this off season, but he's extension eligible next year. Let's just say he has a hell of a year. He plays and stay healthy. You're going to have to get him paid as well. You got Frankie Louvu, to me, who's has been the most consistent thing we've had on defense for the last 2 to 3 seasons, and he plays with a high motor, man. He's a dog. You got to get him paid. There's guys that you need to get paid, and you're going to be talking about paying Brian Burns 28 to 30 million per year on a team that needs everything right now, which we need a little bit of every fucking thing right now. So a sign and trade to me would be the most logical option for the Panthers. What do y'all think about that?
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I mean, the sign and trade, man. It just depends on the deal. Like, it depends on what deal. If it's 2 first rounders, yeah, I probably would take it. You know
Big
what I'm
bro,
saying?
you
Two
get.
first rounders and like another pick.
I don't
And
think you getting 2 first rounders. What if you get a first rounder and 2 thirds? I think you still ship them out.
a
I'm
first
still
round
I'm
and a
still
two and
taking that.
I probably
And
wouldn't
two
take that.
thirds. You ain't. I don't think you ain't getting much of that with the down
And the
season.
re- and, this, and this the reason why. Because Brian Burns, he's still young, right? Um, like I said, is he one of the best DNs in the
He's
league?
not
Like,
top 5, but he's top 10.
yeah, he's definitely not top five, but top 10. And he's young. This is why I'm like, in order for us to part with, because he's one of our young pieces, you know what I'm saying, that we're trying to build with. So I would have to have, as if I was the GM, I would have at least 2 first rounders for him. Maybe one this year, one next year, or you know what I'm saying, however they work it out. But I would definitely have to have two of them for him. But that's the only way I would do a sign and trade, man, because again, he's one of our young pieces, and it's rare when you have find a good solid pass rushing DN. You need a pass rushing DN in this league because it is a passing league. They throw the ball a lot, so you got to have a really good DN if you want to win football games, right? You can't just get by with with guys that ain't coming off the edge. You know what I'm saying, on every play. And Brian Burns, he's one of that guys. That has what's the numbers down this year? Absolutely. I know that's everybody's
Eight and a
argument.
half sacks.
8.5 sacks. I mean, you know, he still was getting some pressures. He did get double digits. No, but I still think he's a valuable piece of this team, man. So, the only way I would do the sign and trade if I do 2 first rounders. It's my take on
Omar,
it.
what's your thoughts, Omar? Yo, Omar, you there? Yo, yo.
My fault. Yeah, I'm here. My fault. I was talking. No, I mean, man, I agree. I think I agree with what you said. You gotta trade him, and then I think you trade him and get some assets back. And then it's another topic here is how would you feel about trading down from 33 but still staying in the top 40? That's a way you can get at least 5 draft picks back from just a Brian Burns trade and then trading back in the draft that way. I think you got to entertain all options there to just stack up your resources again and try to just replenish. Because, like you said, we got a lot of holes and we need a lot of depth. But yeah, I respect Burns. He's not worth that 30 million. All he needed was a 15 sack season. If he got a 15 sack season, he would shut everybody up. But he couldn't do that.
Yep, we got nigga nation in the building. Nigga nation.
Nigga nation, oh my nigga nation. Natural intellectual go-getting achievers is in the building. Again, natural intellectual go-getting achievers is in the building. Nigga nation. How we doing, fellas?
Doing pretty good, man. How you, man? Blessed and highly favored.
Shit, man. It's only one kind. It's only nigga kind. So always remember that. So I've been hearing y'all talking about trading Burns and shit like that. So Omar, my guy, you already know Brian Burns only had one double sack season since he's been a Carolina Panthers, right? And that's right after when we traded Hassan or got rid of Hassan, didn't re-sign him or whatever, right?
Yep, that is correct.
So here's the thing. He had 8.5 sacks, right? Under that, you had Frankie Lugo only had 7.5. And
Frankie was playing middle linebacker, but I agree.
Yeah. And then, but I'm just saying, we told him the sacks right now.
Yeah, we was like last in sacks.
You got Gross Montos, who had the best season and his
had 4 sacks.
He had 4.5.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember how many. Derek Brown, maybe what, 3 possibly.
Yeah,
he had like
not
3.
A sacker. So I think I know where you're going. The whole room is bad.
It's not even that. It's just you got to understand. And we got another thing. Brian Burns doesn't put his hands in the ground no more. He stands up and he's playing linebacker, so he's technically not even really playing defensive end because of that 3-4. But my thing is that we can't trade players and don't never retain them and never keep them. You got to look at our team. We don't have nobody besides Shaq Thompson who's still he's been through the Rivera, Matt Rule, X, Y, and Z, or whatever, right? We don't have players that's been on this team for a long time. So if you get rid of young talent, which is hard to come by, even if you traded Brian Burns, right? We got a whole nother hole. That's a whole nother issue. At least honestly, right now, because we haven't had consistency, I would rather have a guy that's getting at least 8.5 sacks a year, average, maybe 9, compared to just not getting barely even. You know what I'm saying?
But at 30 million?
No, but you got to check this out. He's not gonna get 30 mil. Like, everybody relax. He's not getting 30 mil. He's not getting 30 mil.
That's what he wants.
That's what he wants. But
that's what he wants.
That's what he wants. But at the end of the day, he knows he's not getting that. But at the end of the day, he keeps showing on social media, which I don't have. But I'm seeing that he keeps showing that he's I'll give to him a little bit, showing that he's a Panther Nation, you know.
He want to stay.
He want to be here. I believe it. I respect that.
But we can't trade. We can't just keep trading players. I mean, either letting folks go or trading. And you got to understand something. Just because we don't have a first round and have multiple picks or have a lot of picks, do what the Rams did. Rams ain't had a first round pick in I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? And they stayed put. You can't, and you just got to stay down.
You got to hit on your draft. You got to find.
But they also had Pro Bowlers already, like, on the team, though. Let's not. We can't ignore that.
Yeah, but just because they had since they have won a Super
Bowl, they had Aaron Darnold, who's arguably the best defensive tackle in NFL history.
But since then it won a Super Bowl, they haven't been shit. But all I'm saying is
they made it the playoffs this year. What you talking about?
They really still haven't really been shit since you're not hearing me. They won.
They ain't been legit contenders. I think. What you're trying to say.
Yeah, they not.
But Omar, even they just came off a Super Bowl like 3 seasons ago. I mean,
it was 3 years ago.
You can't really expect them to be. To me, they've done a good job of most teams after winning the Super Bowl.
What you mean? The whole hype was them sitting here coming back and goddamn running it back. As soon as they
won hell no.
No. But that was the narrative. They were saying
they were losing a lot of players. They lost a lot of players.
Didn't they trade Jalen Ramsey and all that?
Yeah. They lost a lot.
But besides the fact, all I'm saying is that we have got to understand, bro. Keep the core, bro. You gotta
But
pay players and you gotta keep players, dog.
But nigga nation, to respond, it's because, and the reason we always traded these players because we have no true direction. We are always 2 years away from being 2 years away. So it's
Right.
like we can
That's
trade
facts.
C Mac because okay, man, we ain't about to be shit these next 2 years. Oh, we can trade DJ Moore because oh, we ain't about to be shit in these next 2 years. It's not like we a contending team. It's not like we even playoff contending where it's like, yo, we can keep this core. I'm truly on the go. We need to rebuild all of it. Dante
Yep.
Jackson, Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson need to be gone. Do you know they have been on this is like their fourth or fifth head coach for one
Yeah,
team? That's
facts.
crazy. That
I
is
saw Dante
crazy.
Jackson today too, Omar. I ran into that nigga in the Publix today.
I'm dead. I like Dante. Dante, like I
Yeah.
said, you
I
Dante
thought he
can't
was
stay
going
healthy.
I thought he was gonna say some shit to me, man. He took the picture and everything. I thought he was gonna be like, man, I
Yeah.
fucking watch your show. Cause I'm
No, they
hard on
definitely
that
be
nigga,
listening.
man.
Yeah, like I said, it's like that's I feel exactly everything. We can't keep trading all our good players, but I think that's something we have to look for going into the future. I feel like it's
Yeah.
too late for some of these guys just because of where we are at, man. We kept trying to take leftovers and heat them up and then serve a 5 course meal, and that's not how it's gonna work.
And Omar, to
Yeah,
your point, it wasn't like we was winning with these guys anyway. Like to keep like not to talk shit about the team, but I mean these guys have been here for a long time, and it was the same result. So, am
all
I,
I'm saying is don't bitch and complain when you trade a player and then you don't have nothing to actually put with that. Now I'm with a player for player type trade. If you do that, at least give me some. But I'm not relying on the draft right now, man. Because shout out to Dan Morgan, but we just don't know just yet. We
Yeah, we
really
don't hit
don't
in the
know.
draft.
Yeah, that's
It's
fact.
We don't
That's
hit.
it's
fact.
We don't hit.
we don't know.
Yeah, that's facts.
Matt Hurney didn't really hit in the draft, and David
Uh,
Gettleman here and there. Man,
Matt
your boy.
Matt Hurney hit in the first round. That's all
That's
Matt.
all he did. That's
yeah,
Hit
all he
hit
that,
in
did
the
that
in the
was
first
first
it.
round.
round.
That was it. That
That's
was
what I'm
it.
saying. But we haven't had a general manager that just been hitting. So we just need to see what Dan Morgan gonna do. Because right now everything is quiet. You see every other team making a little bit of noise and shit like that. But right now, Dan Morgan trying to figure this shit out, and that's who I'm really interested in seeing what he gonna do. Because I'm really not interested in Canals right now. Because I need Dan Morgan to work some magic. Let me see what you do.
So, what
Because
do you
right
think
now,
we should do? So, you thinking that we should? What do you think ultimately we should do with Brian Burns?
what we should do with Brian Burns, it's up and up, man. It just depends. I mean, if it let's say if you franchise tag him, he's already gonna eat at 21 mil, 22 mil or something like that.
24. It's 24
But
million
we
for the tag.
we haven't restructured nobody contracts. We haven't cut nobody contracts yet. X, Y, and Z. But me personally, I don't give a fuck if we keep him or not. I just want to fucking win. I don't care about sitting here training. Just come in and win, bro. Because I'm frustrated as a fucking Panthers fan. It's been 8
And
fucking
we
years,
all.
maybe not. I'm frustrated, bro. So I just don't. I don't care about what coach is in it. I don't care about what players you bring in. Just fucking win. Find ways to win because that makes me happy. That makes a lot of Panthers fans happy. But if you constantly keep having this losing mentality and you're only, oh well, we're not going to be good this year. But bro, show me fight because if I don't see no fight this year, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done.
Man, come on, man. I see.
No, you didn't been through
Yeah,
too much, man. But that
but
but I
we
feel
all
you though.
have.
Yeah, that's why the fan base is so toxic because we are so bad that everybody thinks, hey, if you listen to what I say, the team will be good because whatever the
Yeah,
team. That's why the
yeah.
fan base is so toxic because everybody
That's
think their idea work because of what's going on
that's
currently
facts.
don't lead to nothing. But nah, man, I
But you,
definitely feel you, man. We need to get a young core in here that can grow under Canales. Hopefully,
but
that's what we really need.
that's why I'm like, man, sign and trade him because like I just don't see like to me, I don't see how keeping Brian Burns on the team is going to help the team get better instantly. I don't see that, man. I don't see
You got to have players
paying.
surround them. That's what I'm saying. You got to put players around players. We're just not in situations right now where we just have one individual player that's a motherfucking beast. We just
Yeah,
don't
you're
have
right.
that. We
You
just
you
don't
you
have that. We got and now in today's NFL, it's all about team camaraderie. You got to put players with players. There is no such thing as an Aaron Donald as a defensive tackle no more right now. We just don't see that no more. You don't see a
There.
motherfucker literally getting that type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Now I understand. I agree with what you're saying. Like I absolutely agree with what you're saying, man. But my thing about it is that it doesn't like to me the con. Listen, even if you franchise tag him this year, you're still going to have to get a deal done with Brian Burns, and God forbid he gets hurt this something this year, and now you don't have him for anything. Like to me, I'm on line, man. What Omar was saying, bro. Like is right now we need to build an entire team. It's not to me just one player or like one particular position group. Like, man, we need depth at a lot of fucking positions. Like, we need quality players at a lot of fucking positions. And right now, you don't have the resources to do that. But you got people that you got to pay, right? And yes, I hear what you're saying about Brian Burns, and you be talking about that whole, but bruh, even with them, you still was ranked last in the fucking NFL in sacks. Even last year, you still wasn't in the top 10 in fucking sacks. Like it's not
Okay,
like that
wait. So
Brian
so
Burns is
so so
making
if
that
you
much of a
traded Brian,
difference.
so if you traded Brian Burns for picks, what kind of difference is you gonna see on the defense, dog?
No,
That's
but
all
you're
I'm saying.
building the but you yeah, what you it's not about seeing differences on
For,
defense, but you're building
but
the
here's the
core.
thing.
You're
What
building a
we
core.
what we missing though with Burns. Listen, Brian Burns don't make the whole defense. Our defense was a top unit, and Brian Burns is a part of that defense, man. So he's valuable. Like our unit wouldn't be as good as it was last year without Brian Burns. Y'all gotta understand that. So
Facts.
it ain't easy. It's just saying trade him. Our defense automatically will go down if we trade him and we don't bring another top caliber guy in like him. So I'm telling you, man. And me and you talked about this ways offline. There was a reason why Derek Brown had a monster season that he did. Burns played a part in that. You know what I'm saying? Because teams do show a lot of effort towards him, you know, during the game. You go back and watch it, like they may not chip him every time, but sometimes they do send an extra blocker over there on his side. Therefore, Derek Brown in the middle, he can eat because he got one on one. So like I said, man, Brian Burns is a valuable piece. The 30 million number that, like I told you, I don't think he gonna get that number.
He ain't getting that
I
less than 28.
I think he's gonna come in anywhere around 27, 28, give or say, which is again to me that's fair on both sides. But I feel like you have to pay him. You can structure the deal to where we pay him a lot up front, and then that way it won't kill us down the road. Because you're right, we are building a team. We got a lot of holes to fill, but we can still sign him and structure the deal to where it doesn't affect. Because let's just say we front load it. And then, if his production slips or injury over the next 2-3 years, then we can cut him. We can move on from him. You pay him a lot up front, and you be done of the guaranteed money, right? Whatever that guaranteed
Yeah, but
number
I don't
is.
that to me that's a loss though. Like that's
I
that's
mean,
that's a
nah. I
loss.
mean,
Yeah,
but
like if
I'm
that
again, we
happened, that's
only
a
type of
loss.
talking hypotheticals, though. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that's going to occur, right? I'm just only giving you a scenario. Like ultimately, we want Brian Burns to keep having high production. That's what we want if we pay him. But I'm just saying, a lot of teams. That's how a lot of NFL deals are structured to protect the teams, right? We hear about this all the time in the league. So we gotta sign him, in my thing, unless we get two first rounders. If a deal can't be done there, he's staying on the team, man. And he's valuable to this team. Ain't no way you look at it. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
my
not
take
saying
on it.
that it's I'm not arguing that he's not valuable. That's not what we're arguing, man. Shout out to Colin Green, man, for the comment. I appreciate you, bro. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that he's not valuable. I know how valuable he is, and I know how hard it is to come up with top 10 defensive end talent. But man, I am looking at the future, man, and like as much as Panther fans, we sick of the shit. We're tired of losing. We're tired of seeing these losing seasons. But think about the reasons why we are in these situations. It's because the moves that we made or didn't make have ultimately put us in this situation. Like if you think about it, man, like we traded a lot away to get Bryce Young, man. We gave up the fucking farm. We gave up our number one wide receiver. We gave up a first round pick, other draft assets, and then you got to remember, even for that, that's not even counting the draft picks that we gave away for C.J. Henderson, who's not even finna be on the roster anymore. Draft picks that we gave away to get a Sam Darnold. All of those picks that we fucking gave away, you gave away a lot of resources, man, already for decisions that you thought were going to pan out. You get what I'm saying? So what that did, it left the whole. It didn't just leave a patch of the team anemic. It left the entire football team anemic. Because you got to even realize something. Even with the guys that you have on the roster right now, none of them are guaranteed anything. Like, think about it. J.C. Horn, there's no guarantee that he's going to stay healthy. There's no guarantee of that. If we go off of history, he's been hurt his entire career. Shaq Thompson, like you said, he's been there since the Ron Rivera era, and he's on his third or fourth coach, and he's coming off of a major injury. You don't know if he's going to lose a step or two when he comes back. You know, on the offensive side of the ball, you talk about the offensive linemen. These guys have been injury prone, nothing but injury prone. So there's nothing you really don't have, even with the guys you got under contract. They all have question marks. Like everything on the Panthers right now is a fucking question mark. Nothing on the team, to me, outside of Derrick Brown, is solidified. Like nothing on the team, no position that I feel like and could say that position group can compete with even the middle teams of the conference. I don't see it. Like, so the team is fucking anemic as fuck. Like, you don't have, but we probably have the worst roster talent wise in the NFL. Every other team I can name Pro Bowlers from their team. You don't have anything on your team at all. It's deprived of talent, and it's deprived of talent because you haven't done well in the draft. You haven't done well in the draft, and you spent money on shit that didn't fucking pan out. You spent money on Adam Thielen. You spent money on Miles Sanders. You spent money on guys that you thought that was going to pan out. And then on top of that, there's been changes in regimes for the last 3 years. So the team is fucking anemic, man. Like, it's anemic. I'd rather you listen, bust this bitch down, man. It's like you rolling a fucking blunt. Bust this bitch down, bro, to the fucking skin. You need to bust this bitch down and build this shit through you fucking movement. You do better in the draft. We got to do better in the draft, bro. Like this 33rd pick that we take here at 2, in the start of the second round, this motherfucker has to be a hit, bro. It has to be a hit. You cannot afford to miss on any more top talent in the first or second rounds of the draft. You just can't afford to miss, man. You can't afford it because again, you're letting years and years pass of bad decisions that has led the team to be anemic. And if you don't start to hit on some of these fucking picks and some of these free agent decisions, the team is never going to be built. So in my eyes, I'm saying to myself, bro, you burn this whole bitch down. Get rid of these motherfuckers from the old regime, bro. Stop trying to compare trying to fucking put two motherfuckers from the new regime and the old regimes together and build this bitch over, man, and allow this team to be built in the way that Canales wants the team to be built. I'm not saying that Derrick Brown is not. Brian Burns is not a playmaker, but you are deprived of playmakers all across the roster. Not like literally, and some of them are at key positions. If you really want to think about it, you really don't have a number one corner. You got somebody that's in place of a number one corner, but he has not given you number one corner minutes. You don't even have that. You don't have a number one wide receiver. You don't have a number one tight end. You barely have a number one running back, and you really don't have everybody on the offensive line graded low on PFF. Everybody was under 60 or lower on the entire offensive line. So to me, paying a guy 28 to 30 million per year for a team that's deprived of fucking talent, that shit don't make no sense at all. Because you already
mute up in the background, whoever that is.
Yeah, you already fucked up. You already fucked up when you turned down the Rams' offer for 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. That was the hottest he was at that time to get rid of him and get 2 first-round picks, which would have made the most sense at the time because you gave up 2 first-round picks to get Bryce Young. You don't have a number one this year. Anemic. You don't have 70 or 80 million in cap space. You're at 40. This team is fucking anemic, bruh. Burn this bitch all the way down to the fucking ground. You got to do it, man. Because if not, you're not going to build this team the way that it needs to build for longevity. I'm not looking for immediate success, bro. That's the problem. The Panthers' moves that they made over the last 3 years, it's been because they've looked
So,
for immediate success.
But hold on,
so
hold on, Stan. Hold on. Haven't we burnt it down by giving away DJ Moore, CMC?
exactly. That's
The
what I was
list
about to
go.
say.
Not
We've
all
been
the
burnt.
way. Those
We've
were
been burnt.
those were
We've been
steps, but it
burning.
wasn't all the
We've been
way.
burnt.
It wasn't
But
all the way.
we've been burning this shit down for years, dog.
Right.
But you
There you
have
go.
not got it to ashes yet, though, bruh. You
No
haven't
team
burnt it
does
to
that.
ashes yet.
No team
You
does
haven't,
No
that.
nigga.
team
Yes,
does
the
right.
fuck,
That's
bruh. All the teams that were deprived of talent, bro. What were the Buffalo Bills before they fucking drafted Josh Allen? What were they? They were
they there.
nothing.
All the I'm gonna
They
tell
were
you. Listen,
nothing. Every
they
good team built their team from fucking scratch, bro.
they
Bro,
didn't
they
just
don't
The
build their
burn the
Lions
whole.
didn't
team.
have no talent.
They don't just burn the whole goddamn
No,
team down.
Bro,
man.
They
the
don't
No,
do
they
Chicago
shit
didn't.
like
Bears,
that,
bro,
bro.
the Chicago Bears did not have any fucking talent on their team. Before they started drafting Justin Fields in those guys and trading for DJ Moore and
And guess
drafting
what,
a Cole
Kadar?
Kmet.
Guess what? They
What?
still ain't winning nothing.
But
Like
but they are
so.
in the right direction though.
So who
They're
said?
building
What do
in
you
the right
mean?
direction.
They're talking about.
This
You talking
draft
about a team that's
alone is
about to
going to
draft another
change.
quarterback in the first round
But
in the last 3
Cortez,
years.
but
They drafted
Cortez,
two quarterbacks.
but listen to what I'm saying, big bro. They're drafting, they're building their team to have ultimate success.
Kadar, you're not so again, they drafted Justin
Hold
Fields
on,
3 years
y'all.
ago.
Go ahead, man. Y'all keep the conversation going. Go ahead.
Man,
Um,
big ain't no way in hell you burn the whole
oh
fucking bridge
no,
down,
no
dog.
man,
You
no.
don't do shit like that because it Waves, you saying you want to get rid of Burns. Now you say next year you want to get rid of Horn. If you burn everything down, dog, then we're really gonna be starting from scratch again. Like we can't
That's
keep
my whole
doing that.
point. Like,
What was the point of the reason why we've been having a top 10 defense for the past several years? Why? Because we have drafted okay in the first round. I get it. You know, Horn always hurt shit like that. Burns, he's a hit and miss. He doesn't. He's not a. I don't think Burns is a guy who's gonna give you double sacks year in and year out. He has to be partnered with somebody.
oh
And Frank
yeah, absolutely,
and Frankie
absolutely.
Louvu can get like that, but we got to understand Frankie Louvu is like 27, I think.
Yeah,
He's not like a young linebacker.
a young
So
linebacker, right. He's
even
been
if
around the league. Yeah.
even if you pay this man, you better not overpay him. Don't that we need to talk about that because if you overpay that man, it's gonna be like, bro, you could have done something else with that much money. Now,
Exactly.
because we already signed a 2-year deal, he outperformed that, and I get it. But don't sit here and get this man the bag when you are probably only gonna get like 2 years left out of him. So you
And,
may probably have 4 years good out of him. You know what I'm saying?
right, and I think, man, under Dan Morgan again, he knows what it takes to build a Super Bowl team. He's been a part of it. Like I keep saying this, and I think he's not going to, like he knows what the guys are valued at, what they're worth. He's not gonna overpay them, man. Like again, we cannot burn nothing that we've been through this for several years, trading away assets, trading away our great players, and again, it ended up biting us in the end. So, we pay Burns. We can build a roster still, even if he get his money, right? Again, what we got to understand, it's gonna take more than 1 year, fellas, to get this thing right, right? We
I
can't
understand that.
we cannot build this roster up in 1 year to get it to where we competing for, playoffs and Super Bowl consistently. It's gonna take longer than you. So meaning every offseason.
Exactly.
We
So why
working.
would
So
you
so
pay
me,
a
listen to this.
DN
That's
that
why I'm
much
saying
money?
you can't burn it down because again, we get rid of one of our best pieces on defense. Our defense fell when again, Dan Morgan, they know the offensive side of the ball is the problem. That's where it lies at, right? And if we get one of our best defensive weapons, if we can't get nothing for him, like the right pieces for him, then no, we're not getting rid of Burns. We got to build the offensive side of the ball, like my man Nigga Nation said. You
Right.
pay Luvo. Luvo is pay. You got to pay him. Like I
Just
said,
don't
don't
overpay
overpay
him,
him,
bro.
right?
Just don't
Pay him what
overpay
he's
him because
worth, right? He's
I
been
think
he's
that's what they're
good
gonna do.
and then you can, like I said, you can structure the deal where you still can go out and add to the roster this year to build the other pieces. Again, we're not going to be able to all the needs that we have. We're not going to be able to fill every single thing this offseason, cadet way.
And let's get something understood. This is the NFL. I done seen the Saints have the worst fucking cap space in five, and then fucking
Right.
3 days later they got the best fucking cap space. So shit
Exactly.
can happen. That's why they hired that
But
dude from the
man,
Chiefs. That's why they hired that dude from the Chiefs. Finesse the goddamn
There you
numbers.
go.
Let's get these folks in here, and we gonna start goddamn winning. David Tepper is already a man who wants to win right now. He's had
Right.
6 or 7 losing seasons since he's taken over. He ain't going for 10 years, not a winning season, dog. That
Right.
ain't happening.
no,
I'm
I
There you
telling
go.
you it's
understand
not.
that. I get what you're saying, man. But my thing about it is that having that mindset, bro, is a big reason why we in the situation that we in right now, bro. You can't keep thinking that you can put band-aids over fucking wounds the size of the goddamn Grand Canyon. You can't do that, bro. You keep
But this
trying to.
but
You
this
keep.
regime,
Hold
that's
on,
what I'm
hold
saying.
on. Hold on,
Go
what I'm
ahead.
saying with this regime, even with this fucking regime, I get what you're saying that yeah, you can make moves, but my thing about it is, bro, if you can do model what the Houston Texans do, they most important fucking players at their position, they most fucking important players at, I mean, I'm sorry, they best players at their most important positions are all on rookie deals right now. They all on fucking rookie deals right now. They most important that the most at corner, they number one corner on the rookie deal. They quarterback on the rookie deal. They wide receivers on rookie deals. They got the most important positions on they best defensive end on a fucking rookie deal. The point that I'm trying to make to you, man, is that when you have draft assets and you got and you actually got guys in there, man, that know what the fuck they doing in the draft and can hit on some of these fucking picks. That is how you're going to build a team in today's NFL, bro. I can give you 3 fucking teams right now. You look at Miami, bro. Miami traded everybody away before they started. How you think they got the draft picks to trade for Jalen Ramsey? How you think they got the draft picks to trade for Tyreek Hill? Bro, they got that shit because they traded everybody goddamn away. Listen, bro, I don't give a fuck about Tepper. Fuck David Tepper, bro. His problem, he's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in right now. I don't give a fuck about him wanting to win right now and all of that shit, bro, because that mindset is the reason why you haven't been to the playoffs since 2017. You got to build this bitch brick by fucking brick, and you got to lay a fucking foundation. Paying a defensive end 20 north of 28 or 27 million dollars a fucking year is going to handicap you from doing that. There's cap space, absolutely. They can work all the cap magic in the fucking world. But guess what? A lot of the motherfucking money that we're paying right fucking now are to players that not even on the fucking roster no more. Are to players that we're not even fucking on the goddamn roster anymore. You're playing we got some of the highest dead fucking cap in the NFL. It ain't no stars on our roster right now, bro. Right now, Taylor Moton has the highest cap hit in the fucking in the NFL, and he's not even a top 10 left tackle or right tackle. Like, we're not paying money to motherfuckers on the goddamn roster, bro. All of our money is getting spent right now. The way our cap space is what it is because we paying DJ Moore still. We paying Christian McCaffrey still. We still paying motherfuckers that's not even on the goddamn roster because of bad decision fucking making, bro.
Well, DJ's
Like, come on.
DJ's contract is not on our books anymore. That was another reason why we had that cap space coming into last year.
So
Uh, I
if you're looking at I'm saying, bro, stop looking at this shit one fucking track minded. If you trade Brian Burns, you can give the offense the kind of assets that it needs to improve. where you
But
can build
Stanley,
this bitch the right fucking way.
How?
What do you mean? Because you're getting
How?
draft picks in return,
No, because
and you
here's
can
the thing.
flip
We just
those.
talked
You can
about it.
flip those draft
If
picks
they're
for
not going to give
assets.
us 2 first round, I'm not taking a fucking
So you're
second
not taking
round
a
pick for
first.
Brian Burns.
You're not taking a first, 2/3, maybe a fourth and a fifth for Brian Burns right now. You're not taking that.
No, I
You can
told
do
you
that
what I'm
all. You can
taking.
do that
If
all
it's
you
not
want,
2
but you're
first
taking away
rounders,
from the defense.
yeah, exactly. Like you're not.
Even if you do all that, you're still taking away
Man,
from
you can
something.
do that shit. Sign Shaq Barrett to a 1-2 year fucking deal to replace Brian Burns,
that's a
and now you sitting
band-aid.
with
That's a
draft picks.
band-aid. That's a band-aid that you just
Yep,
said,
there
good
you
brother.
go.
But
You put
That's the
my
band-aid
thing
you just
about it
talked
is
about.
you're getting resources to build. You'll have 2 first round picks next year.
You're
You
not
can
getting
get
2
2
first
first
rounds
round
from them,
picks.
dog. You're not getting 2 first rounds no
But you
more.
would
Yeah,
you will have
we
your
missed out
first
on that.
round.
We
You will
missed out
have
on
your
that
first
already.
round and whatever first round that you would trade him for. That's
That
2
ain't
first
happening,
round
dog.
picks. You can
Nah,
take the
we
best
missed
defensive
out
end
on
in the
that, man.
draft.
Like they offered us 2 first rounds. Forgot which team did it.
It was the
It was
Rams.
the
It was the Rams. There
Rams.
you go. We missed out. So that ship has sailed, man. So again, we gonna
I'm
sign
not
Brian
saying you're going to
Burns.
get 2 first round picks for him. I didn't say that. I said that you would
But
get whatever. He's going for definitely one
listen,
first round.
that's what
You're
I'm
going to
telling
get
you.
him
We're
for
not
one
taking
first
less
round
than
pick.
that, man. We're not gonna take a first round and 2/3. No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
That's
All right.
handicapping us because again, you're
They
you're
gave
you're
up.
you're
They
going
gave up. They
for
took less for Christian McCaffrey. They took less for McCaffrey.
And we got screwed
like
on
They took
that.
less for McCaffrey.
And we got screwed. That man,
exactly. We got screwed.
the following year, he got them hitting 30 touchdowns. Come on, bro. We got screwed out there. We
Yeah,
didn't even
we're
get a
not
first
doing that
pick.
no more, man.
Everybody does good when they leave the Panthers.
That's what handicapped us, man. The DJ Moore deal, we got handicapped. Like, let's just imagine now.
We
Go back
wasn't
3
even
years
winning with
ago.
those niggas. We wasn't winning when we had
No,
McCaffrey or
listen to
DJ
me.
Moore.
If we kept those guys, drafted fucking Fields, and with those guys, with the defense, with having Burns, fast forward this year, bro, we would have been fucking competing. I'm telling you.
No,
Like,
the fuck we weren't because when we had him, we still wasn't
no,
winning.
you missed it. We didn't have a quarterback, man.
So what would have been
So
the
I'm
because
talking
you
about
wouldn't
3
have
years
Bryce
ago.
Young. If those
We
guys were
would have
still
took
here, you
fucking
wouldn't have Bryce Young.
Justin Fields in the first round.
Oh
We
yeah,
would
but
have
that's
still
if
had
you talk about
McCaffrey.
taking Justin.
We would
Yeah,
have had DJ
that's an if
Moore.
though, man. You
We
talking
still would
about
have had. We would have
hypotheticals.
drafted Brown in the middle and Brian Burke by now in the 3rd year.
Yeah,
We would have
but you're
been
talking
competing.
about
I put
hypotheticals
that on
if you would have
everything. I know
taken
we would
Justin
have.
Fields.
We would have been
If
able
you
to
would have
trade
taken
Anthony
Justin
Richardson.
Fields.
We would have still been picking top 10.
Like
Say it again.
We still been picking top 10. We better pick Anthony Richardson. We better pick.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
We
I don't
better
know.
pick.
Nah,
I don't think
I think Phil, man, he went to a fucking real bad team, man. If he got those guys, like imagine him playing with a McCaffrey and a DJ Moore. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's difference. Like, come on now.
I'm just
That, that,
all I'm saying is like, bro, why the fuck would you sit up here and pay this man all of that fucking money to have some of the same results?
He's not worth 30 million, bro. Trade his
it's
ass,
not
bro.
you thinking about. It's not. Listen,
Say
man.
it again, CLT. Say it again one more time for the people in the back.
He not worth 30 million, bro. Trade him.
But again,
And
y'all
then you gotta think
listen,
about it too.
man.
He do not want to be here. That nigga is trying to outprice himself, bro. He don't want to play here, bro. That nigga want to go somewhere and compete, bro, and get paid. He don't want to play in Carolina, bro. Nigga, we just got graded a D grade organization by the players. Niggas don't want to be here.
Yeah, I
Bro.
know. And we gonna get into that next, man. I'm glad you said it. That's our next topic, man. We're talking about the NFLPA grades from the Carolina Panthers, man. And this is a survey that the players get, and we about to talk about those, man. I'm glad you said it. So the NFLPA released the rankings, guys. So again, this is for everybody that's sitting up here thinking that signing Brian Burns makes a lot of sense because that to me that doesn't. You can't. To me, you can't. There's no scenario. Now, if we were 1 year away from contending, it would make sense, man. But even with him on the roster, the defense is still going to be good, bro. But there's still too many other holes for you to be a real competitor, bro. Like it doesn't. And then when you're looking at our draft capital, you really don't have any. You don't have any draft capital at all. And you need that in order to build the entire team. And the only thing that we have that's worth trade value right now is Brian Burns. He's
But
the
just
only
because
thing
if
that
you trade, that don't mean you
yeah,
gonna hit. That's why we need to see what Dan
you
Morgan
got.
gonna
But that's
do
the
first,
thing.
dog.
You gotta start hitting in the draft. No team gets better without hitting in the draft. No, if you don't hit in the draft, you're not gonna be good. Like no team in CLT. You tell me if I'm lying, bro. If you don't start hitting in the fucking draft, bro, you're not gonna be a good football team. Like you're not gonna be a good team if you don't start hitting in the fucking draft. They
That's a
gotta
If
fact.
you,
change.
but here,
And we gotta believe in a new regime. We gotta believe in them to draft well, bro. We're never gonna be
Right.
good if we don't draft well, bro.
that's what I'm
Because
saying. But
you
we
can't
can see
go straight free agent because you're not gonna be able to afford all the free agents. So you have to
that's
draft
true.
well.
That's true. But you got to look at it like this. You talking about hitting on draft picks? I mean, shit. Although that Dan Morgan was even see, this is how I'm looking at it. Because at the end of the day, Dan Morgan was right under Scott, right under him. Now, Dan Morgan sitting here saying, "Yeah, we're totally two different people." Yes, I understand that, which I hope. But at the same time, you saying trade ass, and we can trade all day. That's what we've been doing since we've been making fucking. We always been on every deal. Just sit the fuck
Yeah, but
down.
they've been bad
You know what I'm saying?
trades. They've been a bunch
It's
of
been
bad
bad.
trades.
But
That's
then
what
Like
you
I'm.
all of
wanna
the trades.
you
Why
gotta
would you
you gotta
trade for
take
Sam Darnold and CJ Henderson? That makes no sense.
you gotta take a little bit from each GM, bro. Like for example, North Turner will allow motherfuckers to stay, be great players, don't want to pay them, and let them walk, and we don't get shit for them. Scott Fitter did too much trading and got a little bit of less value than we should have took for those players. You know what I'm saying? So he got to be able to read. He got to be able to be a balance, bro. But you got to let Brian Burns go because we can't afford to keep him, bro. We keep him. Him alone gonna take more than half of what we got available this year. Then you gotta turn around, pay the rookies, and you still need to build a team. It's not gonna work.
Like yeah, I just like when you have too much to build to pay Brian Burns that kind of money. Like if the
Then you go.
Panthers wasn't so anemic, the roster wasn't so anemic, then yeah, I would say, okay, well, you still got this good guy, you still got that good guy, whatever the case may be. But man, bro, we need assets to build this roster, bro. This roster is not in no good shape, bro. I'm telling you,
And I
like,
and I rather let Brian Burns walk, trade him, and keep Frankie Louvu for a fraction of that, 6 to 8 million. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to sign
you can
Frankie
build,
Frankie Louvu and Brian Burns. You know what I'm saying? And I
you
would
Y'all
can
do
let
know,
build,
y'all
you
do,
can
but
build
y'all
your
do know
defense
Frankie
around
Louvu.
Frankie and Derek
But
Brown,
Frankie's
bro.
gonna be 28, bro. He's gonna be 28 this year. Like you only gonna
So
get probably
what?
like 2 more
Linebackers
years
play
out
until
of
they
him.
like 33, 34 years old, man.
Man, hell
He-
no.
yeah,
Not in today's
linebackers play
these
late
niggas
in their
don't.
career.
bro, he
Not
wants
into
30.
these
He wants
generations.
30 million, and he only produced 1 year. 30
He's
That's what
not
million
I'm
in
getting 30
saying,
2 years,
mil.
bro.
No,
bro.
that's why nobody's gonna give him 30 mil. He ain't getting no 30 mil. He ain't got the
Nah, it'll
production
be
to
a
get 30
team.
mil.
It'll be a team that'll pay him. Definitely a contender, like a team that's literally like a player away on defense from contender, like a Baltimore Ravens, or
Baltimore got it. They only
yeah,
got
Man,
Ravens.
Baltimore don't want to pay nobody.
or a Buffalo Bills or a Cincinnati Bengals. One of those teams that's literally a player away. Somebody is gonna fucking pay him that kind of money.
Well, if you want to
It
make a
just
hell of a
don't make
trade,
sense
just go.
for us to
If
pay
you,
him that kind of money.
if you, I'm fine with this. If you want to sit here and say fuck it, Brian, you finna get traded to the Cincinnati Bengals for T. Higgins in a second, third round pick. Fuck it, trade him. At least you know you get the. I would rather trade for a player, bro. Fuck a pick right now. We
Do
need
picks
some.
and players.
I mean, yeah, you can get late round, but give me
Yeah.
somebody who can make an immediate impact.
We're not gonna get T Higgins and a second round because they looking at T Higgins as a first round pick. He the top.
Yeah, because
He the
he a
top
number
free
one
agent.
wide receiver. Yeah,
He the top,
yeah, without a
and they
doubt.
trade him. Yeah, so we probably get him. I'll take him heads up. I'll
Nah,
take him
nah, I
heads
can't
up.
do it. I can't do it here. So I got to get a little bit more.
I'll take him heads up because he gonna come out cheaper than Brian Burns, and we need somebody to pair Bryce Young with for the foreseeable future. I'll take him. You gonna trying to maximize the crop. You gonna let that nigga walk.
I'm telling you, bro. That's what's gonna happen, bro. I feel it because it's similar to what Julius Pepper's situation was. It's very similar to Julius Pepper's situation. You remember Julius Peppers asked for all that fucking money and all that goddamn money that he was asking for, and the Panthers bullshitted so long they didn't do it. Just like Josh Norman, when they let him walk, they took the tag off of him and all type of shit. Like my thing about it is, bro, you let these motherfuckers walk for nothing because even if you tag them this year, you still are going to have to get a deal done with them. So you're going to be paying him 24 million for this year. and God forbid he gets hurt. If he gets hurt or something like that, and you still ain't got no fucking deal done with him, now you sitting there, bro, looking with the fucking IE ass face because you already done missed on about 2 opportunities to trade for him, and you really have one more final opportunity to try to get whatever you can for him. Avoid paying that big money, and you will recoup some of your assets for a building team. We're
I,
not a year or 2 away from competing. We're
me,
not.
me personally, I'll take 2 seconds in the fourth for his ass.
Nah, I ain't gonna take that low.
I'll
I
take
will
2 seconds in
take
the fourth,
it. Got to be 1 first round pick,
bro.
maybe 2/3 or 4th and the 5th. Like it got to be that.
Nobody's gonna give him a first round pick on
Now
a
they
team,
are. He definitely a
bro,
first round pick.
and pay him. You gotta
Yeah,
give
yeah,
him.
hell yeah,
You gotta give him first round pick and pay him. Who
yeah.
has
You got
who?
to.
You gotta exclude Baltimore because they only got 16 million.
That
Buffalo
don't mean that
already,
they can't make the money work, bro.
man. Buffalo already under the cap. Bro, he's not. Bro, he's not no fucking. Bro, that nigga is not no fucking real threat. Where you say I gotta have him, bro.
Bro,
The
he a
nigga is
top
nice,
10 DN,
top 10, but he's not no motherfucker, man. He's not no Bosa. He not no fucking.
bro.
He not, bro. He's not
New
it.
York Jets, a top team, one of these top teams, bro, that need defensive end help, that they feel like they ready to compete. They go pay him that fucking money, bro.
I
They
mean,
go pay him that fucking money.
I can see New York because they got a defensive minded coach. I can see New
Yeah,
York
like
doing
they go pay him that fucking money. And you gotta remember, like a team like motherfucking who they were talking about, like 3 or 4 potential teams, man, trading for him, like maybe a team like the Bills, maybe a team like they, who else the fuck did they say? They said Bills, Ravens, Bengals could potentially trade for him. And it's one more fucking team that they said that was looking at him, man, that will potentially offer that kind of money for him.
So
But
when do you see the deal getting done if we do trade?
it got to be
Draft
done
night.
before the trade. The trade, it like they got to tag them. You got to tag them before the trade deadline, and the trade deadline is next week. So they got to get a tag on them before that, and then when they get the tag on them, I think that they are probably having conversations right now during the combine weekend. Combine been going on today, so the conversations is probably happening behind doors. Dan Morgan is probably talking to other GMs about what a potential offer for him would look like. He's probably already talking to his reps, Brian Burns reps, about what what kind of money that they would have. Uh, Goddamn, man, Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama, man, he just ran a 4 fucking 4. He just ran a fucking 4-4. Dallas Turner, the DN for Alabama, just ran a 4 fucking 4, man, a 4.47 for a DN is fucking crazy, bro. That motherfucker is fast. That's what I'm saying, man. It's potential out there in the fucking draft. Like you have potential out there in the draft that you can replace, man, and have on a rookie deal while you're building the other team, while you're building the entire team up, man. I just to give him that kind of money, man, and the Panthers probably will end up doing it, but I don't think it's smart to pay him when you look at his production, the 4 years that he's been in Carolina, or the 5 years he's been in Carolina, when you look at his production, one season over double-digit sacks, and the rest of them have been around 8 or 9 every fucking year, to pay him that kind of money when you have an entire fucking roster to build, like an entire fucking roster, not just goddamn a DN spot. You literally have wide receivers that you need. You need an offensive line help. You need more depth in the secondary. You might not even really have a number 1 corner after this season. If JC Horn cannot give me 15 games or more this season, his ass got to go. He got to go, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say what you want. I'm tired of it, bro. We a number 8 overall pick. We gave him. I know the injuries have been unfortunate, man. Love him as a person and this, that, and the third. But the NFL is a business, bro. If you can't give me 15 plus games in a season and you're in your 4th year in the NFL, and we took you that fucking high, you don't have a number one corner, man. Like, and again, it's not his fault. Injuries is a part of the game. I get it. But we all know your best ability is availability. That's just where the fuck I'm at with this shit. Like you might not even have a number one corner. And then on top
Well,
of that, Derek Brown got to be paid.
with the JC situation right there, even though he has been injured, bro, he is a great player when on the field. Also, I also factor into that shit though. With them seasons that he been hurt, bro, it wouldn't have made a fucking difference. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Right.
We were a bad team all of those years, so I kind of discount that shit, bro, because it's like with
Facts.
or without him on the field, we were gonna suck.
Facts. That's facts, man. I 100% agree. So again, man, and we talked about a lot of these shits, man. Last thing we're gonna get into, man. How y'all feel about the fucking Panthers raising their ticket prices by 4 fucking %? Now, me and Nigga Nation talked about this offline. Um, you know, he made a very, very good point, man, of why. My first thought was, why the fuck are the Panthers raising the prices on a team that only won 2 fucking games? But then I had to think about it, man. When I'm looking at the schedule and the games that's going to be played in Carolina, this year, it makes sense, right? Like, it makes sense because there's a lot of good home games that the Panthers are going to have this year. And let's take a look at who they got at home. So
I'm
games
just gonna
this year
say,
here in Carolina, outside of the divisional games, the Cowboys come here. You have, which is always a sold out arena. The Cowboys fans always take over. You got Harbaugh and the new look Chargers coming to Carolina. You got the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions, coming to Carolina. You got the New York Giants. Is a big New York Giant fan base here in Carolina. The Cardinals will be here, and the Cincinnati Bengals are coming to Carolina this year as well, outside of our normal divisional games that we have throughout the year here in Carolina. So a lot of good games, man. And even if those fucking seats is sold out by the other team, goddamn, it makes sense why the Panthers prices went up the way that they did. Because there's a lot of good people are coming to see the other teams play as opposed to seeing the Panthers play. I know that's sad to say, but it's the truth.
what I was gonna say is, so don't be worried about it because I went to like 5 games this year. You can get good seats for like maybe like 110 a ticket for like level 2 seats, like to 200 seats, bro. So 4% increases for those type of seats and those type of games, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So don't
Yeah,
when
it do.
when niggas hear 4%, they think like, oh, you paying $500 a seat. Like, nah, it's not. They're not even that high. So the 4% increase is not big on something that's already cheap.
Right. The Panthers, yeah, they was basically giving tickets away, man. But final thoughts, man. This is my last stream, man, for my current career, man. I'll be moving here soon. I have a whole new setup, a whole new look, man. When I come live again, probably won't go live unless obviously y'all know if breaking news pop out. I definitely will go live again, man. If you know, with the combine and obviously the draft coming up, pro days will be coming out too, man. So we're gonna take a look at that. Like I said, I probably won't do any mock drafts, man, simply because it's just when you have a pick in the second round, man, the shit just don't make sense to do. I really don't see it making any kind of fucking sense to do, man, with the Panthers picking in the second round. Now, if we had a first round pick, yeah, I probably would do some mock drafts, man, but I ain't really feeling the mock drafts, man, with us being in the second round. The combine, man, everybody tune in to it. I always like the combine because, it give you a chance to look at some players that, deep in the draft, man, that could potentially, be some guys that we can grab, in the third, fourth round or something like that. I always like looking at the deep guys in the combine and seeing what they do. Obviously, the stars, what they're gonna, usually come out there and cut up. So, watching it this week, man, and then, man, we taking a look at all of the news, man. The combine is basically, man, where all of the groundwork and conversations, um, start to happen for building this team for the upcoming season. Free agent conversations start to be having, teams start talking to agents and all type of shit, man. So, um, this is definitely, man, a busy time for Carolina. And seeing what this team is gonna look like, man. But I'll leave off in saying this, man, about this team for this upcoming year. Number one, I don't have any expectations for the Panthers at all this year. I just want to see improvement. I want to see identity. Shout out to Omar for pulling up to the channel, man. He really hit home with that. I want to see an identity this year. I want to see a version of the new look Panthers being built. What are we going to build this team off of? If this team is going to be a running team, is this team going to be a play action team? Is this team going to be built on defense? I don't know. Like, what is the identity going to be up under this new regime? That's what I'm looking for. Um, and then the most thing that I'm looking for this year is the improvement of Bryce Young. I want to see that kid improve. I want to see him, become what we all thought he would be when we traded all of those assets to get him. And I want to see the offense, man, be a little bit more efficient this year, right? Like just a little bit more efficient. I'm not looking for us to put up 500 fucking yards a game, even though that would be great. But I know this thing is going to take time. And honestly, I wanted to take as much time as it fucking needs to be, man, because I'm tired of these rush jobs. I'm tired of these quick fixes. I'm tired of these, these quick solutions that we think is going to make this team better. And instead of just building it from the ground like you're supposed to be, that's how you win football games in the modern day NFL. Like if like it's too many teams that I can give you examples of doing it that way, and now they're successful. Yeah, it may have taken 3 to 4 years, whatever it may have taken for them to really start making an impact. So be it, right? You can't get really worse than 2 and fucking 15. Like you really, I mean, or 16. You can't really get any worse than that, man. Like I don't think you can get any worse than that. And for the Panther fans that are out here with the win now mentality or I want to win now, listen, I get it. I've been sitting here through this abysmal last feels like almost a decade at this point of watching Carolina Panther football. I've been sitting here watching it with you guys. I understand the frustration. I get the disappointment. I feel all of that, right? Like I'm probably the most disappointed fucking fan out there. But the reality of it is that it's not going to be something that you can fix right away. It's not going to be something that's, you can, there's no magical formula for this shit. Like this shit is just going to have to take time, careful planning, smart decisions, really thought out processes, and it's going to take execution, man. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm really hoping that the Panthers make move. I think that this offseason is very, very important because it can really shift the direction of the Panthers for the next 2 to 3 years of what this team can be. Um, you know, what's clear is you got to have some playmakers out there. Like you got to have some motherfucking playmakers out there, man, on the fucking field. Like you got to get some guys out there, man, that can make some shit happen on the offensive side of the ball. Like right now, we don't have none of that, man. Like we don't have we're basing a bunch of this shit off of a lot of potential. What we think guys is going to be. We think that Mingo is going to develop into, a top receiver for us. We think that Terrace Marshall Jr. is going to have a breakout fourth year in the NFL. You're going off of a bunch of potential for me, and to me, that's not enough. That's not enough for me. That's not enough for me. I think you need to bring in some proven guys that know how to win, that can fit in this system, Canales' system, and you're going to have to spend some money to do that. That's just what it's going to have to be. I think that you need to do better in the draft. I think that you need to try to recuperate as many fucking resources as you possibly can for what you've given up over the last 5 years. You need to try to get some of that back plus more. You got to do better in the draft. You got to hit on these fucking draft picks. You got to start making some motherfucking noise. And again, everybody might not agree with that way of turning the Panthers around, But to me, that feels like the safest way to turn the Carolina Panthers around is by building this thing slow, taking it brick by brick. It may not feel good all the times. It's not gonna be the most exciting thing to do, but you got to build this shit the right fucking way. Uh, I think that bringing in a bunch of young talent that's on a young rookie deals and start hitting on his draft picks will be the key for success for the Carolina Panthers. You got to start doing better in that format so that you don't feel the pressure to always do something every fucking off season, right? And it's been that way for Carolina for the past couple of off seasons. You need to start having these young guys be better. You got a lot of questions to answer about who's going to get re-signed, who's not going to get re-signed. Listen, I like Brian Burns. He has been a staple on this defense for several years. I think that he's a top 10 defensive end. I don't think that he's top 5. He's probably more like 7th or 8th for me. But in reality, on this football team, I don't see how he makes that much of an impact to improve the Panthers right now. Right now. I don't see how he's going to make the Panthers better right now. Will the defense take a hit? With him not being on there, potentially they could potentially fall off. But the key has been to fix the offense, right? You still have enough players on the defensive side of the ball that the defense can still be fairly good to me, even without a Brian Burns. You have a Derek Brown, you have a Frankie Louvu. Start building around those guys. Build around the young talent. Build around those guys. They've been the most productive guys on the team, two of the most productive on the defense for the last 3 years. You got to start building around those guys. Derek Brown, to me right now, Derek Brown is more valuable than Brian Burns. I'm going to say it. Derek Brown to me is more valuable to me than Brian Burns is right now. He really is. I think Derek Brown right now, at this point in his career, is a top 5 D tackle in the league right now. He may be 5, but he's a top 5 D tackle in the NFL right now. I don't think people realize the kind of fucking season that he had last year. This man broke Warren Sapp single season tackles record for a D tackle. He's not going to give you 100 sacks a season, but when you're talking about in the run game and blowing shit up in the backfield and causing havoc up the front, you're not going to find too many defensive tackles in the league better than him at doing that right now. And he's super young. And he stayed healthy. That's another thing that he has working for him. He has stayed healthy, right? So to me, Derek Brown is the most important piece on the defensive side of the ball. I would love to keep Brian Burns around, but to me, the team is not at a place where we can afford to keep him around. We're just not there, man. We're not at a place where we can afford to keep him at the number that he's going to command. I think that there's the team, the whole team needs love right now. They all need a big fucking hug. Every position group, everything needs love right now. And giving that kind of money to Brian Burns right now, to me, just doesn't make any kind of sense at all for the Panthers. Especially when he's probably still going to be on a losing team for at minimum the next 2 years of his career. That means that will go to show you that Brian Burns has been on a losing Panther team every year of his career. He hasn't seen one winning season since he's been on the Carolina Panthers. By that point, he'll be in his 6th, 7th season, and he hasn't seen not one winning season since he's been in Carolina. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. His production, 8 sacks a season, 9 sacks is the average. 1 year over double-digit sacks. That's not enough for me, man, to get paid that kind of money. That's not enough. And then if you tag him this year and keep him on the roster, now you're going to potentially have a disgruntled Brian Burns because obviously he wants to get a deal done. And on top of that, God forbid he gets hurt, and now you've lost all value for him at all. Now he walks away scot-free. You don't get anything for him. To me, it's a no fucking brainer. It's a no brainer. If you have a team that's willing to give, I do think that he's worth at minimum 1 first round pick. He's worth 1 first round pick. And I also think that he's worth, maybe 2/3, a fourth, and whatever else they're willing to give. 2 first rounds. I don't know if a team is going to give that at this point. It would be great if the Panthers could make it happen, but I don't know if that's feasible at this point. If a team is going to give up that much for him at this point, I think the ship is sailed on the 2 first round picks. I think that's sailed. So, but man, appreciate everybody pulling up to the live, man. As always, man, it's been a fucking vibe. Like I told y'all, man, I will go live, whenever the fuck I can. When I have the opportunity to do it. I enjoy talking Carolina Panther football. Like I said, man, we will be having a new setup, new background, new all of that shit, man. Will be on the way in the coming weeks. So be on the lookout for that. Appreciate everybody pulling up to the channel. Big Bruh, CLT, Nigga Nation, Omar, man, the usual crew. Fuck with y'all boys heavy, man. And yeah, man, we go see what's happening, man. But it's starting to get spicy. We're at that point in the offseason where these decisions are going to make or break the Carolina Panthers. So stay tuned, man. Make sure y'all taking a look at the community channel, man. If you're new to the fucking channel, make sure y'all run it up, man. Hit the subscribe button on the channel. And Jerome say he hope I do a mock, man. I don't know if I'm going to do a mock, man. With the Panthers not having a first round pick, I don't know if I'm going to do a mock draft, bro. It's just not the same. It's not the same, man. It's not the fucking same. It's not the same. I don't know. I may do one. I'm still undecided on it, man. If I do decide to do a mock draft, it's probably going to be on some last minute decision type shit. So, man, look, man, life is just a fucking wave, man. Until next time, everybody be safe. I'll catch y'all all later.